Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Let's see how we're doing here. You know who I am. Let's start here. All right. First of all, I want to say thank you. This is such an honor to be here today. And I want to be candid and transparent because I think it's important to show who we truly are. I came with the intention of only showing up today, coming in to speak, and then leaving. But then I saw the agenda, and I thought, look kind of interesting. Maybe I'll go to a couple of sessions. So I went to the sessions yesterday, and I just want to do a disclosure, as all lawyers do. Dr. Akers and Dr. Nestler, I did not look at or see your presentations in order to create mine. So I just want to say, we are all on the same page. It is thrilling and exciting to know that academia, the CSUSB and the two of you get it. And so you're going to see a lot of the themes echoed in what you shared yesterday and what I'm about to present. So it is so encouraging, especially to come from industry where, quite frankly, and I want to be really candid, a lot of us in business are very stressed about university and academia not quite being up to speed just yet. So it was really comforting. Okay, so who am I? Why am I here? How did I get this stage, and why am I speaking to you today? So I have a couple of claims to fame. One of my most famous claims to fame is that I was with Tesla. I did report directly to the CEO, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I got that job. So I came from legal field. I went into HR. It's an interesting story how I got that role. Then I went to Handshake. Raise your hand if you've heard of Handshake. Okay. I used to have to explain what that was. So I was at Handshake afterwards, and now I'm with Empower Pharmacy. Thank you very much. If anybody who uses compound medications, you know how important it is. And we are in the process of building, directly under me, the first AI-powered HR team, and one of the first AI-powered HR and healthcare companies in the world. And so that's who I am, and that's why I'm here, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. I'm not supposed to be here. I am not supposed to be here. I grew up in Long Island, New York. One word, not two, Long Island, if you know how to say it the right way. Small town, really great family, great mom and dad, but tech, AI, Elon Musk, I'm not supposed to be here, and yet I am. And part of my journey is parallel to what is possible in this age of AI. So while I'm not supposed to be here, I am here. And I know what we need to do to prepare everyone for the future. And if you allow me, for the next 30 to 35 minutes, I'm going to share with you, particularly with the students, because I'm really focused on each of you, what you need to be doing while you're here. I'm going to focus on academia, what you please must be sharing with your students, and with business. I feel you, I hear your pain, and I even have some thoughts for you on what you should be doing as we prepare talent for the age of AI. So here's my journey. If you take a look at all of these companies, this is my career. I had several jobs, and to most people, if you look at these companies, there's nothing in common. And I'm going to tell you the titles I had with each of these companies to show you even further how scattered my career seemed to be. At Wall Street, I was an intern. I was one of those summer interns who got that cool gig and got the role. I quit that job in 6 months. And as you can imagine, my parents were mortified, disappointed in me. How could I walk away from a Wall Street career? I had done everything. I went to St. John's University School of Law, go Johnnies. I made it. But the atmosphere was so demoralizing, and I felt such like a fish out of water, I couldn't make it. And so I left. Then I went to Capitol Hill, and I was a legislative intern. Now, watch these titles now. Wall Street lawyer. Now I'm an intern on Capitol Hill. Looks like a backward move, failure move. I spent about a year there as a legislative assistant for one of the congressmen on the Hill. Learned a ton about legislative activity and how laws actually get made and what actually happens behind closed doors. I was hoping to get a job there full time, but my congressman didn't get reelected, so I was out of a job. Then I wound up at Jazz at Lincoln Center, What was my title there? Director of Marketing and Communications. So are you with me so far? Counselor, legislative intern, Director of Marketing and Communications. I talked myself into that job, by the way. Next, I was there for 3 years, had some kids, couldn't handle that nightlife anymore, went to KPMG. KPMG, I started out as what? Director of Marketing Communications. Then something called Enron happened. Can anybody raise their hands if they know what I mean when I say Enron? Okay, that's pretty good. I started hearing about this field called compliance. And he talked about marketing, HR policy, procedures, governance, ethics. I'm like, what is this career? That sounds like me. And I started to think, maybe I want to do something in compliance. Went to Wyndham Hotel Group, compliance. I'm good, thank you. And then I wound up at Focus Brands. At Focus Brands, I was the vice president of legal, and I also handled international law and trademark applications. So again, I'd made it. Now, all these moves, my family's moving, husband's moving, kids are moving, I'm changing jobs. My friends used to say, if it's 2 years, Valerie's going someplace else. Now, they said that to me kindly, but behind closed doors and behind, I won't say behind my back, but the buzz on Valerie was, she's too flighty. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just floundering. She's squandering her undergraduate degree. She's squandering her legal degree. I knew what I was doing. And what I was doing is now the game plan for what everyone should be doing now in the age of AI. I was collecting skills. I was collecting experiences. I was collecting domain expertise. If you look at that list and you think about the things I learned up until that point, you see this is a person who's prepared for the future, who if a company decides they don't want me anymore, I can go someplace else, do something else. So what I want the students to get from this screen, do not worry about what your major is. Do not worry about what your title is going to be. It does not matter anymore in the age of AI. What you want to be doing is you want to be collecting domain expertise. You want to be collecting experiences so that you can flex either in your company or if, God forbid, you're out of your company into the next role. So there's no such thing as failure. I did not fail, ever. I moved on, I changed, I learned. But then I'm in Focus Brands, and I'm in Atlanta. I'm in this glass-walled office. And when I say I'd made it. I'm in the suburbs, of Silver Spring and Atlanta, making really, really good money. But I'm starting to feel like I haven't done anything mission-focused. And when I talk to my kids, there's nothing I can say that I feel like I'm doing anything more than for me and my family. I should be doing something bigger. I'm meant to do things, greater things. When I was on Capitol Hill, the congressman said to me, Valerie, you're meant to do great things. And so speak truth into people. The words you say matter. So whenever you have the opportunity to encourage someone, encourage them. Those words stay with them longer than you'll ever remember saying them. And I remember that congressman saying to me, you're meant to do great things, and it stayed with me. Of course, my mom told me the same thing, so it was an echo. But it was great to hear it out in the wild. So I'm sitting at my desk, I'm thinking, I want to do something great. I'm in compliance. I want to do something in compliance. I should be chief compliance officer somewhere. Okay. I want to do something mission-driven. What should I do? Okay. What company would I want to work for? This is what I'm about to tell you, 100% true. The only company that I thought of, now this is 2017, bear with me, okay, this is 2017 Tesla. The company that I thought about was Tesla. At the time, they were challenging the world to think about energy differently, challenging the world to switch to electric vehicles, challenging the world that we need to save this planet. And I thought, I want to work there. I'm in Atlanta. I'm not in tech. I'm not in Silicon Valley. Again, why am I standing here today? I didn't belong there either. But because I had a career where I knew I had a collection of expertise that could be valuable anywhere, I was not afraid to seek something out at Tesla. And on that day, when I looked on LinkedIn, I saw they were looking for a head of compliance. I thought, that's my job. That's my job. Now, for those of you in cybersecurity, What I'm going to tell you should sound a little bit familiar. I did not go in the front door. I knew there were too many people at that front door. There was no way I was going to get in. I found a different door. I went on LinkedIn. This is before ChatGPT, before Claude, before Grok, and I figured out who was the hiring manager for that job. I hit him up on LinkedIn, and I said, I'm the person you're looking for. I still got that text. I had an interview in 2 weeks. Then I was flown out to California, and before you know it, I'm working where? At Tesla. All right, so let's talk about the Tesla years. The first 2 years at Tesla, rock star. I was head of compliance. The CEO famously did not like using the word chief, so in any other company, I would have been the chief compliance officer. But at Tesla, I was head of compliance. I was the one who helped to pave the way for the Shanghai Gigafactory. And if you know anything about compliance, the ultimate in the compliance career is to work on China, anything that has to do with China. If you do anything involved with China, you have absolutely made it. So individually, for the first 2 years, I'm having an amazing career. I'm being known as a rock star. At Tesla, couldn't be anything better than that. But I'm only focusing on myself, my career. I decided to become, well, I was kind of voluntold by the DEI lead, to become the executive sponsor for Black at Tesla. So I took that on, and one of the first meetings I had for Black at Tesla, the engineer said to me, there's a lot that the company should be doing, not just for us, but for the entire company. You should be doing more. And I thought thinking, I did not sign up for this. I'm having a great career. I'm doing my own thing. My money is good. I do not need to take on any causes. But they were so compelling. And what they said was, and it's not just Black engineers, you can be doing so much more, you leadership, for the entire company, and you should be doing better. And man, that hit me hard. That hit me hard. I said, okay, you're right. And I started thinking about what they said, and then when I started to go to meetings, I started to speak up. There are things we can do better at Tesla. There are things we could be doing better for the company. At the time, there was 50,000 employees. Now remember, I'm head of compliance. I have a team of 2 people. And I started to speak up. And one day, I got a text, and I still have it. And it said, Elon wants to see you. Called my husband. I said, babe, I'm going to get fired. The second sentence I said was, babe, bologna sandwiches. That is the code word that my husband and I use, and that means he's also in the ethics and privacy compliance space. And we always said if we were ever in a moment where our ethics and our wallets were in play, we were going to choose ethics. And what that would mean is we might be back to struggle meals of bologna sandwiches. We're going to eat bologna sandwiches, and so will our kids. So I said, babe, bologna sandwiches. He said, I got you. So up until this time, I had never been in a meeting with Elon. I had only been on calls with him, and you knew if you didn't have anything meaningful to say, you didn't say anything on a call. So I think I said one sentence. So I went from superstar in the company, only one sort of connection with Elon, to he wants to see me. So I get in my car. I was in the Fremont factory at the time, had to drive to Palo Alto, for those of you who know Northern California, and I'm playing my gospel music, psyching myself up. And I get in to see him, and he's in his typical sitting in a chair, head down, on his phone, and I later learned that he's running like a million different companies like on his phone, so he's doing a million different things. And when he looked up, he said, I hear there are things you think we should be doing better at Tesla. What are they? I was ready. I was ready. Note to students, always be ready. Be prepared. Be ready to speak up, because you never know when that call is going to come. I lifted up my laptop, started to put my password in, couldn't remember it. I'm like, now I think I'm looking cool on the outside. I am panicking on the inside. I try again, can't get in. My own password, sorry, almost used a bad word, couldn't get in. I try one more time, now I know I'm looking cool, tried it, couldn't get in, so I start to close it, and I say, so what I like to do, and he goes, no, open it. open it. Now, here's what's interesting. When he said that to me, it recalled the way I grew up on Long Island, where we played a game called Spades. And in that card game, we challenge each other, right? How many books do you have? And no, you don't. And here's my, boom. I immediately relaxed. Open the laptop, put my passcode in, I'm on. So I tell him, these are things I think we should do, and I had this whole presentation, da-da-da. So I said, when you hire the CHRO, this is what that CHRO should do. Because remember, I'm waiting for him to give me the Chief Compliance Officer title that I earned and deserved. And we're trying to find a CHRO because we can't find one that wants to work directly. It's tough reporting to Elon. Said, when you find that person, you should hire them, and this is what they should do. So he listens, hears, and goes, okay, so you're gonna lead HR. And I'm thinking, is that a question? Is that a demand? What, lead HR? I'm not an HR person. Now, listen carefully. Be flexible. Be prepared to flex when an opportunity comes. And women are worse at this than men. I'm just being candid. When an opportunity comes, you don't say to yourself, I'm not ready. You take it and then you get ready. And so I said, yes, of course. And we shook hands, old school, old-fashioned shook hands. Okay, you're leading North America HR, all EMEA, everything except China. Okay. Walked out the door, and I said, what the heck just happened to me? I went from a 2-person team to leading 700 people at Tesla. HR, recruiting, DEI, L&D, physical security, maintenance, everything. I'm like, but I knew I could do this. 2 weeks after I got the role, now Tesla, talk about change management, there was no announcement. There was no, here's your new HR leader. I just got the job and was like, go figure it out. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the Environmental Health and Safety Vice President. He says, Valerie, I need you on the coronavirus task force. I said, no, it's in Shanghai, it's contained, we're good. He says, no, it's coming. That was December 2019. December 2019. So I went from my rock star career in compliance to leading HR on the eve of the greatest business crisis to hit American businesses and to hit the world. That is my career. But during COVID, because I assembled a great team, we did some great things. We increased wages. We made sure that there was equity for everyone who built, not just the ones at the top, but the ones who built the cars. We expanded mental health benefits. There were so many things we got done in those 2 years. And during that time, we achieved record growth for the company. So I am incredibly proud of the work that I did there. But again, remember, I'm not an HR person, I'm doing an HR job. So I want you to think about these things in terms of, don't worry about what your title is. And I'm gonna tell you, I used everything. From Director of Marketing at Jazz at Lincoln Center, my emails got leaked to the public seconds after I wrote them. I wrote them knowing the world would read them. And I wrote them myself because I had a marketing and communications background. So everything I had mattered. So now you see that building upon what you do, nothing's wasted. There's no, oh, I shouldn't have had this major, I'm not gonna use it. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten that job. I mean, everything matters and everything builds. And that's what I wanna really talk about for right now is quantum progression in careers. What's really important is there's no such thing as a ladder anymore in the age of AI. It's all just about movement and what is your energy. Someone talked about energy yesterday. The energy you use, the energy you put into what you do, that is what matters. And so as you're thinking about your career, remember there's no ladder. Every pivot tells a story. Every move, there's data in every move that you make. Every role adds depth to what you're doing. I don't care if you are only in a job talking to the students again 2 months, 3 months, doesn't matter. You learn something. You take that with you to the next employer, and you proudly take that to the next employer and say, this is what I was able to accomplish in those 3 months. What do you need from me now? I can do it. That's the mindset you have to have in the age of AI because you need to flex. Talent needs to be portable. You need to know that you carry with you all the skills, all the abilities that you need, and when one employer is either like not ready for you or doesn't need you anymore, or you're ready to move on, you take everything you have with you. That's what I need you to understand. Okay. When I said this in 2023, when I was releasing my first book, the first version, it was met with a lot of derision. Every job is not a tech job, Valerie. Tech roles are for people in computer science, they're for cybersecurity. Every role is not a tech job. And I'm thinking, this is 2023. Don't people see what's coming? Don't people understand that soon everyone is going to be required to have tech expertise and a tech background? Soon every role is going to require AI. And I started to get worried. I'm thinking, people don't know what's coming. And so the first version of my book, Quantum Regression, I released in 2023, couldn't get a blurb in anything to promote my book. And then a month later, what comes out? ChatGPT. Now, all of a sudden, I'm invited to speak in Stockholm. I'm invited to speak in Paris. What is this AI of every job that you speak of? Yes, every job is a tech job. But if that were true in 2023, let me tell you, it is gospel. Well, Lord, I didn't mean it that way. It is, it is axiomatic that every job is a tech job right now. All right, now I'm going to be real candid, and I'm going to speak to the educators in the room. Because there's a disconnect, folks. There's a disconnect, and I'm worried. I'm worried that what many of these institutions are teaching is not real in the real world. And when I saw Dr. Akers' presentation and I saw Dr. Nessler's presentation, I said, oh, okay, they get it. But it's like a voice crying in the wilderness about what is going on. I'm gonna go out of order. Make your peace with AI, please, academic institutions. You cannot tell these students that AI is cheating. You cannot tell these students that AI is not what employers want. They want all of you. No, we want you to think, but we want you to be AI fluent and AI first. So please, in the undergraduate and graduates, if you have to have a snapshot meeting, if you have a building, the building is on fire, and we need to all get together, change the way you talk about AI. Now, I get it. The way you test, the way you assess, the way you determine whether or not a student learns, so much of it is happening in writing, not in real time, and away from the classroom. I totally get it. But you're going to have to rethink how you assess. Because I'm telling you, it is not cheating to use AI to do your work. Because the second they graduate and they come to me, they better use AI to do their work. Okay? You are not going to get outstanding performance reviews if you don't use AI if you report to me. It is not going to happen. And then we might be talking about a performance improvement plan if 6 months in I keep telling you the same thing and you're not using it. When I first took this recent role, I said, don't bring me any work product that you have not yet put through AI. I don't have that kind of time, and you don't have that kind of time. Let's get to the best version of it first, and then we'll keep going. So I need the institutions of academia. I'm on the board of trustees at Houston-Tillotson. We get it. In Austin, we get it. So figure it out. Figure out how to assess. In my life, in my world, at St. John's University, we stood up and we talked to our professors and we explained how we knew what we knew. We did all our work outside of class. We came prepared to speak and to discuss our ideas, but we spoke them out loud. I'm not saying that's going to work. I get scaling. I don't know all about scaling, but figure it out, because we want them AI ready when they graduate. Let's talk about domain expertise. Now, I know academia is built on majors. I totally get it. But we need for students to understand what they know does not have to be fit into a major. If you took one course in marketing and you did one cool project, I don't care what your major was, put that cool project at the top of your resume if I'm recruiting a role where that project matters. I don't need to see what your major is. I need to see you did that thing. And then you can prove that you did that thing, and then you can prove that you did that thing for me again. That's what I need to see. So don't worry about your major, but if you're not getting on projects, if you're not getting on teams, I know, I have 3 sons, they hate group projects. All I heard all my life was, this is a group project, nobody's doing what they're supposed to do. I don't care. Stay in that group, do that group project, because you need to demonstrate that you have project-based expertise. You've done project work, don't worry about your major. And then lifelong learning, and this is where I'm gonna give my shout out to Dr. Akers. You will never stop learning. Make your peace with it right now. There'll be training programs and more training programs and more training programs, because the way technology is moving quickly, we need you to be up to speed, up to the minute. And so there will be so many training programs, and when you hear about one, volunteer for it. If you hear about their training, there's something going on at the university and they want you to learn something new, learn it. The ability to demonstrate that you will never stop learning is one of the most important things that can be on a resume. This is talent, folks. This is talent in 2026, 2027, 2028. I don't know what's gonna happen in 2035, but I know tomorrow what needs to be on your resume and what needs to be on LinkedIn. And you have to be able to talk about projects and domain expertise. I know how to do this thing. But let's talk about domain expertise and just drill into it a little bit more. I'm a lawyer. I have 3 sons who are all own businesses, so I'm constantly doing work for my founder sons. And so the tool I use to help them out is Claude. I will tell you in a minute, and I'll get to AI fluency in my next slide. The tool I use is Claude. So I had put a contract in. My son Marcus is the founder, CEO, and he was having this dispute, and I had to figure out what were his rights, et cetera. So I downloaded into Claude and I said, does Marcus have any rights under this agreement with respect to one of the actions of one of his co-founders? And Claude said, no, Marcus does not have any rights. I replied, yes, he does, and you're wrong. And then Claude says, oh, I'm sorry, Valerie. And then it gives this whole list of all of Marcus's rights. Domain expertise. If I didn't know the thing, that's why human knowledge is irreplaceable. That's why we can't be replaced right now. If I didn't know what the truth was, I would have told my own son, you don't have any rights in this agreement. But because I knew the thing, I worked with AI, and I got him a Wall Street level contract because I knew what to do. Claude did it for me, and I did it in 30 minutes rather than a week. Domain expertise. So it will always matter. What you know always matters. So learn a thing, make your peace with AI, and be a lifelong learner. That's what higher education should be teaching to all the people who are undergraduate and who are graduates. So let's talk about the 3 imperatives. Number 1, learning agility is the new career security. So I need you, now this is another uncomfortable truth, so bear with me, but it's true. There's no such thing as job security. Do not send students out into the world saying there's job security. All right, there's no such thing. But there is career security because you take your expertise with you. So don't join a company worried about you're gonna be there for the next 5 years, next 10 years. Think of yourself as a hired expert, hired to do a thing, to get certain things done. Think about your talent in the same way. Hired expertise, hired for a certain amount of time, hired to get a certain amount of things done. When those 2 things no longer coincide, either the company's going to part ways or the employee is going to leave, but that's okay, because if you gathered experience, you gathered wins while you were at the company, documented those wins and put them in LinkedIn, it's a win whether you were there 1 month, 1 year, 10 years. So remember, career security, not job security. All right, this is where I give the shout out to Dr. Nestler, because I promised you we didn't talk about this. I've been talking about this for a while, and so have you. Liberal arts plus tech. Has anybody ever heard of a company called BlackRock? BlackRock, $14 trillion in assets under management. You know what the COO said 2 years ago about who he wants to hire and what majors he wants? Can anybody guess? The COO of BlackRock said, I want philosophy majors and history majors. Why? Critical thinking. AI does not have the critical thinking plus domain expertise. It can't feel. It doesn't know how employees are going to feel when a policy gets released. It doesn't know how they're going to feel when a new platform gets released to the company. It doesn't know how to talk to people who are nervous and who are truly afraid in a way that humans do. So if you're an engineer and you know how to communicate, and you can stand up and speak to a group of people, if you can speak up at meetings, you are going to rise to the top of that group no matter how many years you've been there. Whether you're 1 month in, 1 year in, 2 years in, if you're an engineer who can communicate, you're already top talent. If you're a history professor who can contextualize AI bias so that when you are talking about history, you can talk about why AI has its biases and why people who are using it need to understand that and incorporate that into how they're utilizing AI, how valuable is it going to be to produce history majors who understand AI bias? Are you kidding me? When the COO of BlackRock is saying that's who they want, and then you add AI understanding to that, does everybody see where I'm going here? Are you with me? Okay, and then English majors who are prompt engineers. I'm going to say a public service announcement about prompt engineering. How many people think they're decent prompt engineers? Like decent. How many people think they're excellent prompt engineers? Ooh, okay, so I'm definitely talking to the right room now. Okay. Why does it matter? Why does prompt engineering matter? And what the heck does it have to do with liberal arts and critical thinking? You have to know how to ask the right question in the right way to get the best answer. That is why it matters. And the great training ground for that is a liberal arts education. I remember when I was at Syracuse, I was like, get me through these liberal arts classes. I want to get to communicate. I want to get to my major. I want to do stuff. I want to have real world application of what I'm doing. I cannot tell you, I still harken back to things I learned in undergrad. I'm not going to tell you what year it was, but what I learned in undergrad as a liberal arts, had to do my core classes. The things you learn, I use today when I'm prompt engineering. The difference between saying, give me a presentation for designing the future that is interesting and riveting versus I am the CHRO of Empower Pharmacy. I came from Tesla. I came from Handshake. I'm going to be speaking to a group of academics, business leaders, students, etc. I need to have a way to speak to them that is informative, interesting, riveting. They feel something and they learn something when they walk out the room. 2 different prompts, 2 different results. It's a science and an art, learning how to prompt. If you don't know how to prompt well, the second you leave today, find a free prompt engineering course and take it. You're going to be very glad you did. But the combination of liberal arts plus tech, that's what's going to continue to win the day. Okay, fluency. Fluency before accountability. What does it mean to be fluent? Okay. This is another, Dr. Nessler asked this exact question yesterday. I'm going to ask it today. How many of you know ChatGPT? How many of you know Claude? Raise your hand. How many of you know Grok? Raise your hand. Copilot. Gemini. How many of you can stand up here and tell me the difference between each of them and why and when and where you would use each of them differently? Professors, you can't answer. That's my point. That's fluency. Think about learning a second language. And I know that some countries are less amenable to learning second languages than others. I am telling you, AI is going to be your second language. You have to be fluent in it. I personally use ChatGPT when I want to do agreements, when I want to do documents, when I want to create things that I don't really have to think about. But when I need to think, when I need to reason, when I need to have a conversation, when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, I talk to Claude. When I want to find people, this is the tip. Which chat do you think enables me to find people best? Professor, Dr. Akers. And why does Grok enable you to find people? Because Grok doesn't have the same privacy controls. So when I'm trying to figure out who do I want to reach out to promote my business, who do I want to reach out to promote my book, who recently wrote something, what's their email address, what did they most recently write, I go to Grok. It is what it is. Now, I'm not looking to see where they live, and I'm not looking to see, I don't want their phone number, but if I want real intel on people I'm trying to connect with, find, locate, I go to Grok. Gemini is like what I use when I used to use Google. But I'm saying you need to understand those differences. That's how you become fluent. And then on the other side, AI deployment is where ROI is going to die. It's happening right now. Companies are deploying AI, spending millions of dollars, but not training. If you are an employer who is deploying a tool, touting the AI benefits, but you don't spend time training the employees on how to use it, Dr. Akers training, I saw the whole presentation yesterday, that's what you want, right? Why would you deploy a multi-million-dollar tool that is supposed to save time and energy, and then no one knows how to use the AI tool? AI fluency, it's the employer's responsibility to up the game. Send students out knowing it, but employees need to be trained at work on how to use AI. So really quickly, I'm doing good. I have to think about 10 more minutes. So I had this thing called Thrive, and it's easy to remember. It's in the book. So AI fluency is a core competency. It is not optional. And I just scratched the surface. It's not just about chat tools. I mean, please. There's so much to learn. This deck I did is in a tool called Gamma. I use Gamma. I do not use PowerPoint. How many people know Gamma? Oh, good. You're going to thank me. Forget PowerPoint. Do all your presentations in Gamma. Gamma has beautiful visualization. It's intuitive. It does where you need a column, where you need a chart, where you need bullets. Everything you need to do a really rock-solid presentation, you can create in Gamma, and then you can convert it to PowerPoint and PDF. But you only know that if you're fluent. You have to be AI fluent. You have to know all the languages. Now, there's thousands. You're not going to know thousands. You're not going to know all the tools. But to do your job, if you can't tell me the top 5 tools, and I'm speaking to everybody now, I don't care if you're a CEO in the room or you're an undergrad, if you don't know the top 5 tools that are being used in your field right now, you are not AI fluent and you're doing yourself a disservice. How do you figure out what the 5 tools are? You ask one of the chats. And then you ask all 5 of them or 6 of them, and then you'll get a consensus and you'll understand what you need to be learning. So you need to be tech fluent. Human skills, we already talked about this. EQ, communication, ethical reasoning, critical thinking. Extremely, extremely important in the age of AI. You have to know how to think critically. I reason with Claude when I'm having these discussions on what I want to create. And my reasoning is better. I'm better at reasoning than Claude is because I'm a human being. And all Claude is a collection of what everybody thinks should be in there, but they don't have me in there. That's not me. Now it's learning me, which is getting scary. It's a whole other story. But this is really important. Relational intelligence. I had a conversation yesterday. If you think that in the age of AI, it is not important to have human connectivity, let me dispel you of that notion right now. Human connection, human connectivity is more important now than ever. You have to make connections. You have to come to events like this. You have to, my family calls it shaking hands and kissing babies. That's what we call it. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to make connections. And then follow up on those connections. You never know where your next great role, where your next business idea, where your next great employee is going to come from. People still drive the engine of business. You can't do it in your dorm room. You can't do it in your apartment. You can't do it in your house. You have to get out and you have to make connections. And the more you do it, the more you use that muscle, the more comfortable you get. Fail. I want to stay on that word fail. Failure is good. I feel like the Gordon Gekko, greed is good, but it's failure is good. Generational reference there. Failure is good. Fail and iterate. It's okay to try new things. If you tell me in an interview about your biggest failure and what you learned from it, I will never forget you. I'm not saying you're not going to necessarily get the job, but I'm sure going to remember you. I'm going to remember you, and then you know what? You might not get that job, but I'll bet I'll remember you when something comes up the next time. I have done this. I have had people not get the job, and then 2 years later, what are you doing right now? Where are you? You want to talk? Happens all because they know how to talk about failure, about things that didn't go well, because resilience is so important in the age of AI. It's really critical. So iterative thinking, fail and iterate fast, really important. And then value, problem solving. This is a note to everyone in undergraduate or any graduate student right now. If your resume and your LinkedIn doesn't talk about a problem you're solving, you have not done either of them right and you're wasting your time. Businesses want people who solve problems. That's what talent it means today. What problems have you solved? Now, it doesn't matter what scale. It can be in a group project. It can be in a global project. I hire people, who've done things that, are multi-million-dollar projects that scaled globally. But we talk about what problem did you solve? Because the interesting thing about business is today, as it was yesterday, it's about solving problems. That's all it is. What problem can you solve? And so the ability to speak that way, that's talent. That's what talent should be able to do. Talk about the way that you solve problems. So coming up close on the close. And then stop thinking about linear progressions. I took promotions. I took demotions. When I went from my job in New Jersey to my job in Atlanta, I went from a vice president to counsel. Once again, everybody was talking about me. Wow, Valerie took a demotion. Things must not be working out for her in her career. She's only a counsel in Atlanta, but I was learning I wanted that job because I wanted that skill because there was transactional work that I did not have in my arsenal. And all lawyers, if you want to be a chief legal officer or a chief general counsel, you have to have transactional work. I didn't have it. That's why I went and took that demotion. And then I got promoted to vice president 2 years later. Stop thinking linear. So I'm coming up to a close. We are in an era of chaos. And here's what for the business people in the room, I'm gonna tell on you, and I'm telling on me too. We don't know everything. We are still trying to figure this out. We are deploying tools that don't work. We are flexing in and out of workforce numbers, trying to figure this all out. It is pure chaos right now. But what an opportunity. What an opportunity in that chaos. You can figure out what angle works for you in this chaos. Maybe it's, I know the AI of everything. Maybe it's, I solve these problems. Maybe it's, you know what, I am a cybersecurity expert, but I see what's happening in marketing, and I'm thinking, you know what, I think they might want to have my expertise on the marketing team. I shouldn't be thinking of myself only as a cybersecurity, I should be thinking of myself as a hired professional who can work on any team. Because let me tell you something. On my team, I have a director of HRAI. I have an HRIS manager on my team. We are embedding tech. We are pulling tech away from the central teams of tech teams and the IT teams, and we're pulling them over to the business units. Do you know how much opportunity that is? If you have a tech degree or tech expertise that you can bring to the finance team, that you can bring to the supply chain team, that you can bring to the comms team, and then you can tell me, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to spend $200,000 on a tool when I have you. That's the way you've got to stop putting yourself in a box. There is so much opportunity right now. So you need to think bigger, think larger. Don't pigeon yourself into one thing. And if I could close on something that I really want everybody to take away from this today, don't narrow your vision. Don't narrow yourself into what was an analog world and an analog way of thinking about careers and prospects and your hopes and your dreams for the future. It doesn't matter if you're undergrad, graduate student, you're in academia, or if you're in a profession building businesses. The sky truly is the limit. As long as we put humanity first, because machines can't do what we do, there should be no limit to what you are thinking. And so for the rest of the day, I just want to challenge everybody to consider this. We are investing in systems, but we also have to continue to invest in people. If we continue to invest in people at the same rate that we invest in systems, humanity is definitely going to win. You cannot scale systems without scaling talent. That is the way of the future, in parallel, at the same time, and with the same sense of urgency. If we do this together, we will truly define their future. Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing. Stick around, we got a little something for you. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Akers and Dr. Keating to come over to the stage. Let's give another round of applause. I mean, how amazing was that? And just so you know, there will be a book signing. Valerie will be doing a book signing right outside the door. So first come, first serve. Students first. Students first. See, I know. It's not like I've never done this before. Come on, Valerie, I got you. And again, it's absolutely free for all our students. It's the university has invested to give you guys to read about this stuff. So without further ado, I want to pass the microphone over to Dr. Akers.
Thank you first. Before I go, I'd like to ask Dr. Keating to speak first because he is a historian, which means you heard what Valerie said. You have opportunities to go into other careers.
Yeah, I was looking for a new job, so especially after planning this for a year with you, Tim.
Right.
No, thank you so much, Valerie, on behalf of Cal State San Bernardino, Office of Student Research and Innovation, the Office of Academic Research, and all of our partners on campus, which were instrumental to making this happen. We're so very fortunate to have folks like you who are willing to share with us your experiences and your insight and really talk about where we're going, because these conversations help us inform what we're doing and how we can be most impactful on the educational process of our students. So we're really grateful for you to be here. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Keating. I am actually holding back the tears again because who in here has heard of Maya Angelou? Raise your hand. One of my favorite quotes, she said, you might forget what I said, you might forget what I did, but you will never forget how I feel, how you made me feel. I'm paraphrasing. Do you agree? How do you feel with after what Valerie spoke? And having said that, for those that don't know, and this is the incredible book that she has written, and Students First, and she's provided quite a few copies to make this available. And having said that, before we continue with something else, I would like to ask you, who in here has a cell phone? Raise your hand. Who in here can hold a cell phone? Raise your hand. Who in here has a camera on your cell phone? Raise your hand. Take your cell phone out. I'm going to take 5 seconds. You know, organizer privilege. Is that okay, sir? 5 seconds. Point your cell phone here. Take pictures of what's going on. This is the nation's first Futures Conference focusing on emerging technology for workforce development, and send it across your entire social media. You heard what Valerie shared. This means the world to us, and I would like to say on behalf of Cal State San Bernardino and on behalf of the National Quantum Literacy Network, we would like to give Valerie this plaque expressing our deep appreciation, and it reads, in recognition of your innovative insight and distinction contributions serving as a keynote address at the nation's first Defining the Future Conference for accelerating workforce development in emerging technologies, for bringing visionary leadership of talent, organizational strategy, and the future of workforce transformation. Valerie, thank you on behalf of Cal State and the National Quantum Literacy Network. Thank you very much. May I have a little hug? Thank you very much. Thank you.